There are two ways to do the course. One is one-to-one with me, and that lasts for an hour each session, and there are 6 sessions in that. But the preferred way is to work in a group. The maximum number of people in the group is 8, and that's 2 hours each week for 10 to 12 weeks. And the reason it takes so long is we want in between each session people to go away, to process what they've learned, to do some work on what they've learned, and then come back and be ready for the next stage. So it varies between 10 and 12 weeks depending on the exact size of the group, because if there are more people, then we have to hear more people. So if there's just you, it takes 6 weeks. If there's up to 8 people, it takes up to 12. The first thing is actually explaining what grief recovery is and what it isn't. It's not about changing their emotions, but there may well be emotional change as a consequence. There's a lot of reading. We introduce ourselves to each other, we talk about the major loss that brought us to this particular group, and getting to know each other a little bit. That's really all that we do in the first week. And in the second week, we've read about some of the misinformation, and we share which particular bits of information that we were given, and find out what we all have in common. And then it's a process essentially of sharing those losses, having other people hear without being allowed to interrupt how we felt about that particular loss, because every loss is unique, every relationship is unique. So if I lost my dad and someone else lost their dad, that doesn't make us the same, because we both had unique relationships with our fathers. One of us might have thought he was great, the other might have thought he was an ogre. So each relationship is completely unique, and it helps to hear other people's views on the same thing and realise that actually we're all fairly similar when it comes to the grief misinformation that we've all learned. The journey they go on, first of all, is they plot their loss history. The next thing that they do is pick a particular relationship to work on, and it might be the loss that brought them to the group. It might not be, it might be working on the relationship with their parents, and we chart the relationship, the good bits of that relationship, the bad bits of that relationship, to recognise there's good and bad in every single relationship. And once we've charted that, then we work towards writing what we call a completion letter, which is where we say to that person everything we couldn't say to them in person, so that we actually complete that communication. And that's heard by another living human being that isn't going to get offended or upset by the contents of that letter. Yes, we do, and sometimes there's lots of tears, and sometimes there's lots of laughter. And I have to say, at the end of most sessions, I'm smiling, the people in the group are smiling, and I'm so fired up and so energised afterwards I can hardly sleep. So it is very powerful, and it's just astonishing. You don't realise how powerful it is until afterwards, and you live with it and you realise that, oh, actually I have let that go, or I've learnt a new lesson. And even now, 2 years on from when I did my first completion letter to my late husband, I still realise just what a powerful technique that was. I think the most powerful thing is when someone's at their real low, is giving them the hope that they can feel better again, and the realisation that you can get out of the pit and you can have the tools to help you get out of the pit. And I watch the news and I still cry, but I don't cry because I can help people that are in my group. So that doesn't pull me down, it lifts me up. So giving them hope, giving them something concrete to grab hold of, is the most rewarding thing I've ever done in my life.